You ever look at your bank account and just feel this wave of anxiety? Not just about your money, but about, well, everything? If that's you, then you're in the right place. And look, we're not going to talk about cutting out lattes today. We're talking about taking that feeling of being completely helpless and turning it into real, concrete action. Okay, let's dive in.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. Yeah, you're the one who sets the spending limits, you track all the expenses, but how much of it do you actually control? When the price of rent or gas or even just groceries feels like it's on a rocket ship you can't stop, you gotta ask, are my personal finances really personal?
And boom, that's the absolute heart of it, right? This quote from Katie Gaudy-Tassin just hits the nail on the head. If you feel like you are constantly fighting this impossible uphill battle just to, stay afloat, you're not crazy, you're not bad with money, you're just dealing with the financial mess of big decisions made miles away from your kitchen table. So what do we do? How do we even start to fight back? Well, we've got a 4-part game plan. First up, we're going to connect the dots between policy and your wallet. Then we'll talk about securing your own financial oxygen mask. After that, we'll get into building a community lifeline. And finally, we'll learn how to turn those passive doom scrolls into powerful community action. Okay, first things first, let's get this one crucial truth straight. Policy is personal. That knot in your stomach when you think about paying for childcare, the sheer frustration over another healthcare premium hike, the feeling that the housing market is just a cruel joke. None of that is a personal failing. It is the direct result of policy decisions. Now, here's where we need to get specific. It's one thing to feel like the vibes are off, right? That kind of vague, cloudy sense of doom and gloom. But it is a whole different ballgame when your material safety is compromised. We're talking about a direct threat to your income, to your health, to your basic rights. Knowing the difference between the two, that is the first step to focusing our energy where it actually counts. Which brings us right to our first principle. You have to secure your own financial oxygen mask first. It's just like they say on an airplane, right? You can't help anybody else if you're gasping for air yourself. And this isn't about being selfish. It's about being strategic and sustainable. So the goal here, and this is really important, isn't to become some kind of financial doomsday prepper hoarding cash under your mattress. No. As Chelsea Fagan from the Financial Diet says, the real goal is to maximize your flexibility. It's about creating financial breathing room so that when a crisis hits, whether it's yours or someone in your communities, you have options. You have the power to act, to help, or just to ride out the storm. And guess what? You can start building that flexibility literally right now. Just take 30 minutes for a quick audit. Step 1, can you cover a surprise $1,000 bill? If not, what's the game plan? Step 2, is your emergency fund easy to get to? Like, is it liquid or is it tied up somewhere? And third, what subscriptions are you paying for that you could pause right now to free up some cash flow? This is all about creating that immediate breathing room. Okay, so once your mask is secure, it's time for the next big step, building our community lifeline. The idea here is simple but powerful. We are each other's safety net. Look, having your own finances in order is great. It's crucial. But real, lasting resilience, that's found in community. Because when the big systems fail us, we have to be the ones who show up for each other. And this is really the core idea behind something called mutual aid. It's not charity where someone from on high swoops in to help. It's solidarity. It's a system of collective care where people just voluntarily share what they have. It's neighbors helping neighbors, because we all recognize our well-being is tied together. Financial educator Berna Anat just puts this so perfectly. A lot of us already do this with our families, right? They're our first mutual aid networks, but the idea is to expand that outwards. We have to get better at both asking for help and offering it, spreading that responsibility around so no one single person has to carry the entire weight. So how do you start? You can forge your own Lifeline link with a few super simple steps. First, open a totally separate, free, high-yield savings account. Name it Community Fund or something like that. Second, automate a tiny transfer. I'm talking $5, $10 a week. Just start building the habit. Then, do a quick search for mutual aid networks in your city and just follow one of them online. See what they're up to. That's how you start to build that connection. All right, this all leads us to our final and maybe the most powerful principle of all, moving from passive online clicks to active, real-world community. It's time to find your political home. Let's just be real for a second. How do you feel after arguing with a stranger in a comment section? Drained, right? Isolated? It's totally ineffective. But getting in a room, a real or virtual room with other human beings who are all working on the same goal, that is energizing. It's connecting, and it actually works.
The reasons to log off and link up are huge. I mean, for one, as both Chelsea and Berna pointed out, people are just nicer in person. Plus, local organizers, they've already done the homework. They know what needs to be done, and frankly, they are begging for people to just show up. This is where you find real human connection, where you can have actual influence. It is the perfect antidote to that feeling of online helplessness. So how do you start? It is so much easier than you think. Just scroll through your email inbox, find one organization you donated to once or a petition you signed. Look up their next event. It could be a Zoom call, a park cleanup, anything. Put it in your calendar. And then just commit to showing up. Just once. That's it. That's the whole first step.
Because when it comes down to it, it's about this incredible idea from activist Michelle Mujung Kim. All of this work, the community building, the political action, the mutual aid, it's like a giant tapestry. You can't fix the whole thing at once. It's impossible. Your job is to find one string, just one single string that speaks to you, and pull like hell. So there you have it, a clear path from anxiety to agency, from your own wallet to your community, all the way to the systems that shape our entire world. You found your string. The only question left is, how hard are you going to pull?